Okay, with as much time and research as I put into this video, there's no doubt there's still gonna be some brands that I miss. And you know what? If that brand wasn't mentioned, little bro, that means that brand is irrelevant. Cause you know, I've gone through hella archives, taken some advice from my schoolboys, and really put in some work. So I want you guys to grab your food, kick back, and for the first brand, let's talk about...
What? It's just an ordinary Krabby.
Maison Margiela. So we're starting with a big powerhouse here. And you know, the last time I talked about this one, I might have given it a little less respect than it deserves.
This is definitely a more niche kind of fashion brand though, to be honest. So I can't rank it too high. I'm probably gonna put this in B tier.
Hang that nigga now!
But I've done my time for that and I'm here to make things right. The sheer impact and influence Margiela has had on the fashion space cannot be understated. He pretty much big broed Raf into getting into designing clothing himself. Margiela's collections have always been founded on seeking to be polarizing and subverting typical high fashion expectations. The type of designs and clothing Margiela would release would kind of just do something to you. Clothes that every single time you saw Hitting Your Explore feed, it just made your heart stop. You have to look around, run into a room by yourself, and really just appreciate the beauty of Margiela.
Don't even ask.
With their radical deconstruction of fashion, Maison Margiela has a lot in common with Balenciaga. See, they both make clothes. But anyway, after practically establishing itself as avant-garde king, Margiela is way too influential to get anything less than S tier. Oh, you want to talk about influential? Balenciaga. This brand went crazy for the masses with a generational run sparked with the start of those speedy sock sneakers that debuted back in 2016. I know I have some younger kids watching me, so it's kind of hard to understand the hype and just how crazy this moment in culture was if you weren't really old enough to kind of deep it back then. But trust me when I say, everyone in the space was talking about these bitches when they first dropped. It was such a radical and divisive shoe at the time when luxury fashion and sneakers especially were more so conservative and just looking like this most of the time. So you can imagine a huge mainstream fashion house like Balenciaga just letting their big balls hang low and charging high-end pricing for a sock shoe. This really gave people a lot to talk about. This would only keep going with the infamous luxury house, as subsequently later, Balenciaga would release the Triple S sneaker.
My nigga, you cannot do that.
An almost exact opposite to their flagship at the time, and also pioneering the age of the chunky dad shoe for the fashion market. This is a brand with rich history, and yes, okay, I get it. I understand it practically became an entry-level luxury line, kind of just appealing to hype beasts and streamers, right? But you know, that doesn't take away from the impact and influence this designer has had on the mainstream culture and the way masses view fashion overall. This is a brand that was synonymous with style a few years ago, and any and practically everything they did was instant commercial success. I understand hardcore fashion niggas love to glaze niche, underground, inaccessible brands, but you know, come on, I'm not with that shit. I can actually sit here and appreciate things that, regardless of how popular they are, I can still show some love. I'm gonna put Balenciaga in A tier.
Make sure that he's safe.
An absolute personal favorite of mine, Bottega Veneta. I really have nothing but praise for the level of sheer detail, polish, and ingenious creativity that Bottega have been pushing with their collections. You know, even though I did praise Balenciaga in light of its perception being like a more casual, mainstream luxury brand, it's funny because you can really see the difference between the target demographics here between designers. Because with Bottega, this is some true aspirational luxury here. This ain't for the masses, my nigga. Come on. Everything from the garment quality, stitching, the carefully calculated brand positioning, the unique mark. Come on, I don't think a lot of you niggas even appreciate the MVP run we're seeing from modern day Bottega.
Bottega Veneta was the only high luxury brand that satisfied the criteria I was looking for in leather and craftsmanship this year. If you're looking for really good leathers and very fine design, nicely crafted bags, you might want to check their products. Out of my inspections this year, their leather choice impressed me, their design, the unique and extremely complex craftsmanship.
Call me a Bottega dick rider now, because I generally have no negative to say about this brand. This is going to be the easiest ST on the list for me.
These $650 pair of jeans from Acne Studios are the single most...
Now this one has been a really trendy pick this year with the clever marketing and influencer campaigns they've been doing. I'm all for getting your bag, but some of these prices are diabolical. I mean, if I was trying to push these type of prices right for my future brand, I would get... finally awake. A Cold Wool. So this one was a recommendation from my boys in the school community, so I had to do a little bit of research because I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know shit about this outside of my initial reaction.
My nigga, you cannot do that.
Okay, but truth be told, I actually do mess with some of the general designs and pieces here. These are some fire cargos for one, and the brand has done some really interesting collabs and projects that I fucked with, but I don't know, some things just kind of missing for me. And maybe it's because I don't really resonate with this kind of dark, technical aesthetic, and this might be my personal bias here, but I want you to pay close attention to this next sentence. This is my video, bitch, and my personal opinion, alright? So any of you little fashion nerds getting butt mad in the comments because I rated your little cross-dressing avant-garde brand poorly, you're more than welcome to go out there, buy your own laptop, buy your own microphone, write your own dusty script, and spend 30 hours editing your own video, bitch. Anyway, Cold Wool at C tier. Polo Ralph Lauren. Okay, so my Ralph boys, let me talk to you guys for a minute. You guys have really been through it, man. Like, how you guys go from a heritage brand with rich history to this? I do love the direction and diversity that's been going on lately with Ralph Lauren as a whole. And between Ralph and Tommy, I'm choosing Ralph any day. This is a brand that became an empire that exudes a sense of more easily accessible and aspirational type of luxury right to the common masses. And there's also a little more street cred behind the history of Ralph. Being an absolute classic, I'm gonna have to put Ralph Lauren in S tier. Okay, so stop me if this sounds vaguely familiar. High fashion luxury house pushing edgy, radical statements with their clothing collections. Marketing campaigns with wild publicity stunts and experimental messaging. Clothing with lots of tongue-in-cheek designs, exaggerated XXXXL garments, and nah, nigga, hold up. Ever since the whole child Diddy scandal of Balenciaga, we've seen their brand become less and less provocative while its counterpart, Vetements, continues to troll even further. I think Goram is definitely gonna do interesting things with the brand going forward, but I gotta keep it real, man. I always look at this brand with so much nostalgia of the Demna era, because these were just some different days for Vetements. I dare so say this was the peak of the brand, because come on, look at some of this shit they were putting out. Like, this was some real creative shit. It almost feels like we're trying to grasp and claw back to these times, recapturing that effortless nature these pieces exuded. And you know, saying all of that, current era Vetements just ain't the same. I still fuck with the brand, but it's gonna have to be a B tier for me. So ever since Pharrell took over LV, I've seen a split in the general sentiment over the direction the luxury giant has been going towards. And while I haven't liked everything Pharrell has done, I do think it's a little tasteless and a little too soon to mindlessly hate on him. I personally have such a deep love for this brand since as far back as I can remember. Just being a kid, right, that type of shit, I always used to look up to Louis Vuitton, you know, like it always symbolized luxury and fine fashion to me. And the things Virgil was doing with the brand back when he was alive, right, rest in peace, really refreshed the way I saw luxury as a whole. It was such a dope thing to kind of see like an old heritage brand redefine what luxury even meant, you know, experimenting with this cool juxtaposition of streetwear and high fashion and just doing really interesting things with the line. And again, I know not a lot of people love what Pharrell is doing, but I do think it's just way too soon to kind of finalize his time at LV. I, for one, kind of fuck with the whole colorful, soft leather speedies like he's kind of doing, right? And the American Western inspired collection was kind of just like a fun creative direction for the brand. This brand is so dear to me, and I will always have a love for what it's done for me in shaping the way I even view fashion and designer brands as a whole. The fact it's so mass marketed and mass appeal shouldn't be a detriment against the brand. I'm gonna put LV in S tier. Burberry, the classic checkered stripes, the iconic baby shower shirt. This is a brand I feel like doesn't get nearly enough love from what I can see, because you know, they've built a really strong core audience in England, like, you know, UK type shit, but globally it kind of seems like they lose out to other designer brands in terms of their general appeal for most people. I think I'm gonna put Burberry in A tier.
Next on the list of essentials is the Boring Company's flamethrower.
Weird, buddy. You're weird.
Heron Preston. So the last time I talked about this brand, I can't remember exactly what I said or what I rated it.
And I'm gonna say we'll put this in A tier.
My nigga, you cannot do that.
I do think I might have glazed it a little bit, you know. And you know, being back then, guys, I was just getting into the brand. So, you know, as much as I still love the brand, I do have to admit, I have started to notice the repetition of the Heron graphic with pieces and just some of the uninspired design across the label, like, you know, which might kind of fall in with that whole in construction type of vibe they're going for, but it just ain't in the same like it used to for me. I'm gonna put Heron Preston in B tier. Alix? I think that's how you say it. Yeah, Alix. I saw a comment talking about Alix is the only brand that kind of allows them to achieve a, quote, elegant techwear appearance. And you know, I kind of have to agree because I really do think this brand is doing something special out there. And it's funny because I remember clowning on one of their signature items back in one of my rating subscriber videos or something, right? I definitely do appreciate and love the creative approach Alix is taking, pushing that sleek matrix type of look. And I say it all the time, but I love how fashion is becoming so diverse and enthusiastically encompassing all walks of creative expression. You know, even if it's not my personal style, I can still appreciate some technical fabrics and more so the idea of this like conceptual fashion. To be honest, I just kind of fuck with the marketing campaigns of this brand. I think they're pretty dope, right? So I'm gonna put Alix in B tier. I know you internet fashion nerds gonna love this one, so I just had to include it. I had to put this on here. Yohji Yamamoto. I've been more and more drawn to Japanese fashion over the last few months, and this is the designer whose clothing has really been stimulating and pushing me towards thinking more intensely and deeply towards clothing. I find Yohji's work always exudes a sense of excitement with the incredible tailoring and craftsmanship behind it. I typically don't stray too much into like avant-garde styling, but Yohji kind of just seems to lie within this sweet medium of fashion that I find so rare in like the attitude of design that actually seeks to create wearable clothing. I dug into the archives of like his past work as I was making this video because I really kind of wanted to see what else Yohji was doing, and I was not disappointed. He really has been steadily improving and evolving since his brand's initial conceptualization. I really recommend, not just normal recommend, I really recommend you guys look up into his brand, right? Like if you want a deeper dive into what makes him really influential, because I can't spend too much time talking about it here. So I'm gonna put Yohji in S tier. Jean-Paul Gaultier. Now, I shouldn't even have to justify myself here. This one is an instant S class. Like, come on, Jean-Paul Gaultier? I know some niggas getting mad at me the way I pronounce it right now, but come on, this one is a legendary label responsible for so many signature looks, dresses, and even costumes that just transcend so far above just high fashion runways. This brand has made a strong reputation across so many famous mediums and collective expressions of creativity. Your favorite movie stars probably won some Gaultier for like a TV show. Your favorite celebrities probably won a Gaultier dress at the gala. Your favorite fashion archive page has probably posted some type of Gaultier piece as like their Grail, ultimate Grail piece, right? This brand is just one of the coolest things to have happened in fashion, and I especially love what's been happening lately with the whole revival of archive fashion and vintage looks in the community. We're going back to what works, and Jean-Paul Gaultier is exactly that. And yeah, that's gonna be the whole video, guys. I had a ton more brands to talk about, right? So please do not come in my comments asking me, why didn't you mention Prada? Why didn't you talk about McQueen? Like, nigga, part 2, guys, you know? I didn't mention them because if this video does, let's say, okay guys, if you guys can get me 2,000 likes on this video, I'm gonna do a part 2, but otherwise, I really didn't want to spend time just kind of making a video that I didn't know is gonna perform well or not, you know, especially when I've been gone for so long, guys. Like, I don't like taking big breaks and in between uploads, guys. I want to make more content for you guys, but yeah, let me know if you guys want a part 2, and I'll include all the other brands. Come on, I'll see you guys later.